It's me, Mudahar, and welcome to another episode of the Some Ordinary Podcast with me, your co-host Nuxtaku and Oompaville, and of course, as today, we've got the amazing Abba from the Abba and Pre channel, who is without a doubt one of our big Red Pill warriors. You want to introduce yourself a little further there, buddy?
Hey, that is a crazy intro. That's a crazy. You just dropped the bomb. Yes, this guy happens to be part of the national party. Excuse me? Who did you just lump me in with?
I knew I was going to do that. Ever since I first talked to Abba on Destiny, I'm like, oh man, I have to. This man is the most reasonable person you can find. Unfortunately, enveloped within that whole sphere. This is the voice of reason for everybody here watching.
Man, listen, I'll just say this. I run a YouTube channel. It's pretty popular, and we do commentary on a bunch of different things. And that's all I really got for an intro.
Drink coffee?
That works.
I do drink coffee, specifically cold brew.
Well, guess what?
Brew
We're
really?
the fans of
What a funny coincidence.
The Some Ordinary Podcast.
We are sponsored by our friends at Cold Brew. Kanye West. I think we're all fans of We've all listened to Kanye music, right? We've all listened to a few songs from our friend Mr. West, or Ye, as I guess he's legally called now. I think he changed his name.
Absolutely.
Wait, did he?
Yeah, I think he did. I think legally it's Ye.
I hear he has dragon energy.
Yeah. He first.
Listen, I'm not trying to dead name this rapper. Okay, I'm just saying, but let's be real here. I'm saying some rather interesting things about Nux's tribe, if you will.
Oh, look! Here's the Jew part of the cabal hiding his face whilst also having an influence.
That's right.
It's kind of insane. Just so every time I don't understand how Kanye has so many dick lickers. Personally, every time the dude could say something, they all jump on. Right? They're all there. They all get into it. And I personally feel like this is some grandiose reveal for some album, maybe something anti-Semitic related. I don't know.
He's gonna run for president.
You guys talking about Kanye?
Yeah, we are.
The first publicly anti-Semitic.
How'd I know?
If we go back in time a little bit, about a week ago, we all read the tweet. What was it, DEFCON or DEFCON? I forget exactly.
He's DEFCON mode.
DEFCON.
Gonna go DEFCON mode,
which is a great video game, by the way. DEFCON 3 to all of the Jewish people out there, and he was about to reveal, I guess, how the Jewish people have a distinct control over the media and whatnot in the world, right? Which got Kanye to get a suspension onto it. No, he just got a tweet removed. A lot of places said he got banned.
Yeah, just a tweet removed.
Yeah, which makes sense for Kanye West. It really does. It makes sense for anybody. I think if we all posted that exact same tweet, we'd all be removed. Simple as that. We'd all have a suspension or something.
Yeah. I said I mentioned the adrenochrome drinking blood conspiracy in a video, and someone was like, "Doesn't Oompaville know that that's an anti-Semitic conspiracy?" I was like, "Huh?"
I didn't even know that was a thing, but what do you think about the Kanye arc so far?
Which portion of it? There's so much going on. I figured I would just kind of listen in on what you guys thought first and kind of get a feel, and then go. I feel
like we can really just start to talk about the cancellation of Kanye. All of a sudden, it's hard to cancel a billionaire. You can't cancel anybody that's over that. Anybody that has the ability to control capital like that, you cannot cancel them. That's just simply how it is. But obviously, Adidas dropped him. Adidas dropped him out of what is one of their most profitable deals ever because of the whole anti-Semitic arc for sure. Kanye has suddenly started. I don't know if he's bought out, but I think it's claimed to be buying out Parler and all these other crazy social networks, the fringe networks, if you will. So it's a rather interesting arc to go down, and I don't think he's going to recover from it personally, just because of how inflamed everyone has gotten, and just this is not somebody doing flat Earth conspiracies or some crazy shit. This is we're dredging up anti-Semitism again.
Yeah. And what's scary to me is a lot of people kind of buy it. They're like, wait a second, if Kanye said it, it must be true. There's a lot of that as well.
Stupidity.
The celebrity culture in general.
Which part do you think celebrity culture people are buying into in regards to this comments?
I think because when it's mentioned as fact, that's like, well, you see, this company is owned by a Jew, and this company is owned by a Jew, and this company is owned by a Jew, and there aren't a lot of Jews in the world comparatively, so the Jews must be controlling the world. I'm sure you have a couple of like hardcore fans scratching their heads and saying,
yeah, they're piecing like the lines together.
He has a point.
Well, it's kind of like the anti-vaxxer conspiracy sometimes. Like I'll come across like some graphics that are posted on Twitter. It's not super duper common. It'll just be posted. Like anytime you'll have something vax related, they'll always post the CEOs of like the pharmaceutical companies, and it'll be like a Star of David next to him, and they'll be like Jew, 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 and I'm like, oh. I'm like, that's where we're going.
Like you guys are on a different internet than me.
Yeah, like that's where I really feel like we are. But you got listen. You spend your time like kind of on TikTok. I don't think you're on like Twitter looking at some of the insanity. That's where
not a lot of anti-Semitism where I spend time.
Yeah, I mean,
to be honest,
yeah. What can I say?
How do you
4chan's a different place. Go ahead.
How do you feel about it, Caleb, when you hear all this stuff unfolding?
About the Kanye stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always felt that he's a very like eccentric guy. Obviously, I don't know a terrible amount about him. I know a lot of his music's very good. He seems. I remember years ago when I first saw him on Twitter, he just had like these crazy ramblings on just like he was $50 billion in debt or 50 million. I can't remember what it was, 500 million, something like that. An insane amount of money that was he was in debt. And like he had he has his crazy style brand. So I feel that it's all just bizarre, but very on brand for Kanye. In all honesty, it just seems like it's not that unexpected. And also, I mean, he alluded to like black people being the original Israelites. Is that not correct? In his first tweet, when he said like he does not like Jews, and he can say that because he is a Jew.
I want to know if that's like a whole. That's not something I don't necessarily discount. It's just like for anything related to that, I just like you gotta have like every source up. It's so outlandish, you know.
I mean, if he's just reclassifying what a Jewish person is, then I feel like he's being, I don't know, he's just being Kanye, you know.
So yeah. I don't know if he's reclassifying it.
Well,
like,
he's been on a few podcasts and
like
stuff.
A whole theory.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen some of them. There's a whole theory that you know, a lot of some of the Jewish tribes that were exiled like thousands of years ago that ended up in Africa. A lot of them were taken as slaves. Like that, it's a theory. So he's theorizing that he is the real Jew, and therefore he has insight to this.
Yeah, I think when it comes to all the outrage surrounding this, surprisingly, a lot of people ask me about this, and I was telling people, like, I don't think most black people who listen to Kanye or have heard the comments really care about any of the Jewish comments. I think most of them just got upset by the George Floyd stuff. Outside of that, they really didn't care, because I think the perception that most ordinary folks do have is that Jews are overrepresented in media, and then some of them even go further beyond that and then buy into some of the conspiracies about a cabal. But, you know, one thing that is odd when I'm watching this conversation unfold is like, Kanye is a poor communicator, and he'll say a bunch of stuff that I'm like, well, what are you even talking about? This is incoherent. But then I'll hear people on the other side be like, there's no such thing as like Jews. No, Jewish people are absolutely overrepresented in media and in power positions. That is true. But it doesn't necessarily mean that there's some kind of grand conspiracy behind it. But when folks deny the fact that Jewish people are overrepresented in those positions, then I start to look at them a little bit bizarrely, because I'm like, well, why is that?
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily like anti-Semitic to say like, hey, if you go to Hollywood, there's a lot of big production studios and a lot of big actors and actresses that are working together. And I think a lot of that really has to do with, hey, this is where like a lot of these people go to. And in like a business sense and like a professional sense, it's kind of like a family, you know, like you sort of... Like, at the end of the day, humans connect with those they see themselves with the most. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot more comfortable for, like, somebody of one skin color to immediately start speaking with somebody of the same skin color or the same religious or the same background, yeah?
Like, I first realized that, like, I grew up in a very just kind of, like, naive family. There was, like, very little talk of racism or anti-Semitism. We just all worked, and that's pretty much it. So I really had no idea. But I realized there was a lot of, like you said, there was like an overrepresentation of Jewish people in Hollywood. When I listened to, as a kid, Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song, and I was like, all these people are Jewish? What? That's insane. And I thought of that, and then I actually asked my dad if we could celebrate Hanukkah instead of Christmas because there's 8 days.
With so many coffee options, it's hard to pick which one is the best. But luckily today's sponsor, Cold Brew Club, is the correct choice for you. Over the past 2 years, the teams at Cold Brew Club have crafted the world's greatest coffee. And there's a good reason why I make that claim. Firstly, the bean blend is expertly grown at Passeio Farms in Brazil. This is important because the high altitude location allows the coffee beans to mature slower and develop a more complex flavor. Secondly, the water is sourced from the Mayendel sand dunes of South Holland. This naturally filtered, crisp water is free from any metals, chlorine, or harsh chemicals that would interfere with the delicious coffee flavor. And finally, after the beans are ground and the water is delivered, Cold Brew Club uses a centuries-old cold drip method that slowly extracts the smoothest coffee concentrate known to mankind. Once the coffee is crafted, it's packaged and shipped right off to your door. Just use 1 ounce cold brew concentrate and 2 ounces of water for the cup for the best coffee you've ever had in your entire life. So shout out to Cold Brew Club and yourself. Click the link in the description below to get it delivered straight to your house. And if you use promo code ONEBUCK at checkout, you'll get the coffee for 99 cents per serving. That's a fraction of what an inferior product would cost you anywhere else. Again, click the link in the description below to try Cold Brew Club for yourself. It's a decision you will not regret.
I've actually never seen a Hanukkah celebration. What pops off? Do they all like pray towards
There's
Israel?
many days of gift giving. They have a great time. Yeah, it's like it's apparently like if you listen to the song, and I've done some basic research. I really don't know. Nux, you obviously know more about
yeah.
I love
Jewish celebration.
hearing you describe it. Too good.
Yeah.
Because Kanye West, he mentioned Hanukkah, and he's like, you see, Hanukkah, it's a day where like, you know, it's gift giving and stuff, and because there's like these Hanukkah coins and whatever, like these chocolate coins that people give their kids. So it's like, it's teaching the Jewish kids how to, like, you know, market your money well.
Jesus
you know?
Christ.
Did Kanye say that?
That's not at all what it's about. Yes, he did say
He said that.
Oh, okay.
He said that.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's why y'all are
I just
such
know
good,
there's 8 crazy nights.
that's why y'all are such good financial
Nights,
advisors.
They light
Jesus.
8 candles. And the reason why, like, there's like all the partying and the spinning the dreidel thing is because in that time the Jews were being oppressed, and as has happened many times throughout history, it seems. And basically, every time they would try to study or something, I think it was the Romans at that time that were oppressing them. They would try to, like, they would arrest them. It was illegal to study and to be knowledgeable in Jewish law and Judaism and practice any of that. So whenever like the soldiers would come, they would play with the dreidels. So that was a representation of that. Like, that's basically what it's about. And it's celebrating a guerrilla warfare because there was an army that came. You don't care. The point is, it has nothing to do with accounting at all.
I can't believe he said that.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
that makes sense. That sounds like something you would say. I think that's like one of the least controversial things.
it almost sounds
They
like
give him these coins.
it almost sounds like Kanye is that, like, you know, 4chaner that, like, you know how like back in the day, like 4chan is like, I would say like 4chan has a lot of racism on it now. Like if you go to like poll and like a lot of the, you know, extreme boards. But like, remember how like 10, 15 years ago, like you would go onto like 4chan, and maybe my experience is different. Maybe I'm like a different person, but like if you go onto like any extreme image thread and people start spouting like a racist principle, like really over the top shit, you know what I mean? Like caricatures, like call out stereotypes, you kind of laugh at it because of how absurd it is, you know? I feel like most people shouldn't have taken that seriously, but Kanye's like the one guy, it's like, you see that, guys? Somebody is also saying what nobody else is. Like, he actually falls into some of that, because when you talk about the coin counting, I'm like, that's outlandish. I don't know how you, like, that's like laughably outlandish, but I could see Kanye taking that seriously and going, oh, this is why they're good financial advisors. This is why they're good with money. Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
That just sounds like some meme that he just, like a copy pasta that he just memorized and then just spread.
exactly. It doesn't sound like it came from any
I don't know.
position
I
of
laugh.
like
I mean, I think
research.
it's good to. It's probably a good way to work things backwards. Like if you see a lot of like accounts who happen to be Jewish folks, and then you hear the story, you probably believe it. If well, not you specifically, but I could see Kanye believing it if he just heard from somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, they exchange coins. That's why they're so good with money. You know, what I mean, they start them.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, you know.
Correlation.
Getting them into it, yeah.
Personally.
Well, I want to ask you, Nux, what, if at all, scares you about hearing Kanye's comments and how popular they are?
To be honest, I think I'm not personally scared about it. I feel like people that see it, anyone rational that hears what he says knows that he's being irrational. So I wouldn't go as far as to say that I'm personally scared about it. I do think that any fear that would perhaps stem from a youth group or whatever that hears it, and they preach it, and they think it's cool to, for whatever reason, post on TikToks forms of vandalism or stuff like that. I think that's the real fear.
I think a lot of the fear really is going to be around the older communities that have actually seen the horrors of like actual like hate groups against them. Like, you know, any like buddy that survived the Holocaust, for instance, like they'd be the ones that most scared, because I think like most young people know that like, listen, even growing up here, like, you know, post 9/11, like, yeah, it was kind of rough when it happened because people look at you like, damn, is that a 6-year-old kid going to start jacking 747s? Now it's like different. Like people grow up, like the younger population is a bit more understanding, and like they know that this shit is dumb, but it's really just the older populations and like the even younger population that gets indoctrinated is the only thing you really have to watch out for, right?
But like, so you mentioned the like Holocaust survivors and stuff. So my grandfather, who is a Holocaust survivor, so whenever he hears stuff like this, he's like, I already know everyone hates me, because like that's kind of how he grew up. Like he was in concentration camps. He's like, hey, someone's just saying what everyone was feeling all along.
Holy shit. Your grandfather is base, bro.
Yeah, he's Redpilled, I guess.
He's like,
that's crazy.
He's like, after enough camps and you become Redpilled.
He's like, I've been through summer camp too much. No way.
I'm not gonna lie, but some part of me low-key cringed super hard when Jamie Lee Curtis got on social media and started crying about it. I was like, listen, okay, the comments aren't the greatest, that's fine, but watching you cry about it is making me cringe incredibly.
Yeah, well, I saw like James Charles was talking about it. I don't know if my stance has to be clarified, but Jewish people,
James is back? I thought he was gone.
He came back.
James Charles in years.
I just saw this like 15 minutes ago before we filmed this.
Anti-Semitism.
Yeah, here, I'm gonna read it out for you guys.
Imagine the man just laying in bed right beside some like underage guy, and he's like, wait, I gotta make a text real quick. Listen, Kanye's talking about my people, okay? Now, I'll call your mom to give you a lift later, but right now we gotta.
Oh my god!
Hold on. Before I open the Uber app, I gotta go on the Twitter app and make this.
I've forgotten my login. It's been so long since I've been online. Let's go. I honestly didn't know he came back, so my bad.
He came back to make a point about like, hey guys, you know, anti-Semitism is bad, right? Like it didn't have to be clarified. Now, I'm kind of on both camps of this. I understand the point of saying things like this, you know what I mean? Like, absolutely. Obviously, when Kim Kardashian comes out and reminds us that anti-Semitism is bad, it honestly, like, I can never stop looking at it like, damn, it feels like performance art to me, you know what I mean? Like it really just
it really does.
In my opinion, I feel like celebrities are just everything they do is performing.
Yeah,
like in reality, especially when it has to do with anything virtuous.
I'll go even a step further. I think there's a lot of celebrities in Hollywood who actually share a sentiment. Because I've been hearing about this kind of stuff from either rappers or musicians of all kinds complaining about Jewish influence in Hollywood since like I was 10. I'd hear it in rap songs, I'd hear it in other kind of rock songs. Like that is not an outlandish theme in that world, just because of the fact that it's
not new.
Yeah, no, and I think it's particularly pervasive in Hollywood just because you know, the record label industry had a huge cataloged history of like giving people terrible contracts and fucking people out of money that they really deserve, anywhere from rock bands to rap groups. And like they've always complained about the fact that they've been getting some of the worst deals possible, and that, you know, oftentimes Jewish names would be the ones that would be coming up. So that kind of sentiment, now seeing everyone be performative about it, I think a lot of people that are quiet actually do share that sentiment in that world.
It's interesting because, like, it's like if you logically think about it, it's not necessarily like, oh, you have to be anti-Semitic about that sentiment, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you're right. The producers over there, you really have to be against the whole, like, business itself versus the person, right? Because it's like it's so because I've heard about this for decades, right? Like me and other YouTubers have looked into specifically Spotify and like streaming services now and how they pay out to creators and like a lot of those deals, especially to like younger like people who get into the rap game and they sign these crazy deals where they're like rights of their music are signed away completely. They get like a little bit of fame and fortune for like a couple of years, then have to pay back these like insane back debts on their music.
Sunset clause.
Yeah, exactly. Sunset clauses, insane back debts. And I think it's more like, hey, obviously everyone in the industry is super shady. If you work in the media industry especially, and you're young and you're naive, you're going to get 100% taken advantage of. And it's not like, hey, it's because there's like a cabal doing it against you. It's because you're working with executives that regardless of their race, religion, or whatever extraneous variable would fuck you. You know what I mean? Like if it's one thing, the producer, the business people, the executives in that industry are wholly like they are all the same character, you know? Even if they were like Jews, Muslims, you know, atheist, whatever, like black, brown, you know, white, they would cannibalize the younger no matter what, simply to like make an extra buck or two. It's insane how much of a conveyor belt that the industry actually is. And you're right, because of the overrepresentation of Jewish people, they're the ones that get targeted immediately because it's like, oh, it's just all of them working together. No, it's mostly the business. But that's the nuance that I wish people looked at. It's hard to jump in and have that discussion when people are so ready to like, you know, make a point and like stick with that point 100%. It's very easy and performative to like, in some ways, I think it's very easy and performative to just say like, hey, yeah, glad that Kanye stopped the anti-Semitism. And that's where the whole investigation stops. No one looks into why, you know, somebody would go and make these statements in the first place or what led them to a manic state or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'd probably say the final point is for me is just, I think anti-establishment sentiment is very, very popular. And so people hear Kanye speak against what they perceive as like power or authority. And people really like to jump on that because like, oh, he must be saying something true because it's going to hurt him to say this. And so that's also another aspect of it that's really popular. I
mean, it did hurt him. I mean, like he got kicked out of one of the biggest deals of like his career, the Adidas deal, which that's I
mean, I mentioned I think the Yakub thing that I mentioned a couple podcasts back. I'm pretty sure Kanye has spoken about Yakub in his songs before too.
Oh, the Yakubian people,
the
Yakubian
the Yakubian apes.
Yeah.
Sounds fire.
I believe Jewish people are included in that too. He's been singing about it for a while.
I've never heard of it.
What are you a Yakubian, Nux? Is that one of your? I mean, I can't speak.
Look,
I'm not a Yakubian.
But now that Kanye said it.
It's okay. Knox might be Jewish, but he doesn't know about the nuance of his own people. He thought they were just one.
I guess not. I don't know.
Yeah, now he's like,
I'm a master in tricknology.
You see, like at the end of the day, it's like one of those things where, like, I feel like we're one of the few people that have ever extended the conversation beyond anti-Semitism. You know, we actually look at there's definitely a root cause. Let's not jump into like, hey, I mean, obviously, I think we all agree, like, no one's defending any of his claims or statements. Kanye is like a fucking unhinged nut job making these points in the first place. I just kind of want to know why, because I don't think he's saying these things out of like he's not stating it's very different because he's not intellectually stating these points. It's like Caleb said, it's like the dude read a meme and he's going with the fucking meme. That's it, right? Like
Kanye's a hard case because normally like you base it off the end goal, okay? Like what is this person trying to accomplish, and then you kind of work it backwards. Why he said what he said. Like if he's trying to make money off it, then you can usually trace why he's saying what he's saying.
In Kanye West's 2021 song Jesus Lord from his album Donda, with the line, I could change the world like Yakub with 2 pieces of steel.
Hey, shout out to Yakub.
Dude,
What a mad lad.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Shout outs.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, but with Kanye
dropped some
specifically,
Yakub knowledge.
it's really difficult. I appreciate it. It's really difficult to work your way backwards when I feel like he's mentally unstable.
Right.
Whoa.
The issue with the mentally unstable part is it could be true, and like there's probably some evidence of that to some degree. But because some of what he says does make sense, and people come out and then they counter a lot. Like I remember I was watching him on is it Jake Tapper or something like that? One of the dudes from CNN.
CNN.
One of the CNN guys. He's having a conversation with him, and the dude's just like, have you taken your meds? Have you gone to sleep? I'm like, he's trying to make points. And I think if you just counter with you sound crazy, then you almost sounds very dismissing of anything that he's saying that's accurate. So I don't disagree that there may be a mental health angle, but so long as that's not confirmed, I think speculating on someone's mental health as a rebuttal to some of the stuff they say does seem.
I'm not saying it as a rebuttal.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I feel like it's hard to trace what his goal is if this is, I think, the most likely possibility.
It's tough because we wouldn't have made these points. Like maybe like it's hard because I always like to look at somebody's like actions and I'm like, would I do that in a professional setting, right? If I can't come with that, then it's hard for like at least me to sort of understand, what the process or again the end goal, like what the fuck is going on, you know what I mean? Like, and that's where like people
like for example, do you remember? See, for me, it's because it's a cycle. That's why if Kanye would have not done something like this before, I wouldn't be
something
as
like what? Just to be clear,
do you remember his Dragon Energy tweets?
Nah, but that shit sounds fire. I'm not gonna lie. What do you say?
So he tweeted something along the lines of, "You know why I love Trump? Because both he and I have dragon energy."
Okay, I can understand that. Right? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So and then like he goes on this whole massive pro-Trump rampage, and then he shifts, and then he becomes somewhat anti-Trump like a month later. Like people that zigzag so much, I think that there's something going on there.
Yeah,
I don't know. It almost felt like watching Fousey Tube's concert.
Yeah, I think you ever seen some people who are a little bit scatterbrained? Like they have a conversation and it just trails off in a bunch of directions, but they're trying to hold one line. But along the road, like they're just
trying to talk to Caleb about the Akubians every time.
That's what I feel like when I hear Kanye speak. It's like I understand where he's starting, and then he goes off the path, but I have to keep my mind on where he was really trying to go because I know this is just like a divergence. But sometimes divergence goes on forever. I think that's my issue. I understand when he says dragon energy. I think he's basically just saying like. He's somebody who's going to go scorched earth. He'll say what he's thinking.
Someone dynamic.
Exactly.
That's how I read it.
Yeah. Yes. I do my own like internal Kanye translation when I'm listening to him because he says a lot of wild stuff where he does some crazy analogies.
Well, speaking of wild stuff, he even mentioned like the George Floyd stuff too, which was like just insanity.
I think you saw that Candace Owens documentary, which apparently a lot of people have been referencing, and then there's some dishonesty in that documentary. So I think he's just parroting what she was saying.
I'm so glad you have like a really nuanced take on this. Like I swear to God, like this is the problem with the internet, right? And we're gonna shift to like the Ethan Klein anti-Semitism mark. So here's the thing. I knew about like your channel beforehand. I did. Like I had an idea, but I wasn't like an active watcher because I wasn't jumping onto that side of the community. Like my YouTube viewing history is mostly computer related stuff. Like I'm watching computer programming stuff, and that's pretty much it. Like but the first like actual thing that made me want to jump and investigate the entire thing of your channel, like I wanted to watch everything because it was when like Ethan Klein put you into like the same den of like he put you into like the whole Andrew Tate class, right? Like he's like, oh, this guy's like fresh and fit defender, Andrew Tate. And so when I saw that, I'm like in my head, I'm like, out of every title I've seen from these guys, they don't really come across like that to me. They always seem like normal, level-headed people. So I'm like, in my head, immediately I was like, did something change? Like, did these guys get like hella red-pilled? So then I watched it, and I watched the H3 podcast clip first, and then I watched your channel because I have this rule where it's like I'm not going to watch anything out of context. Like if you take 30 seconds out of anybody's video, obviously you can make it look like anything, right? Like fuck. But then like when you watch like the 10 minutes, and of course I'm guilty of it too. Like I've watched Andrew Tate clips, but I've never watched 4.5-hour interviews. Like I've scuffed through transcripts, but it's like that's a lot of content to parse. I try to play as much context, obviously. So when I watch your guys, I'm like, damn, this is like straight up defamation on these guys. Like holy fuck. It's like damn. So it became like a whole like wild arc to get into, and recently obviously Ethan Klein made like some pretty nasty anti-Semitic comments towards Ben Shapiro. I'm gonna say for context sake it was a lot of it did sound like a really edgy joke, but obviously it's not jokes that we understand. We can't make jokes like that. I wouldn't make an anti-Semitic joke ever right now just because I know how the internet is and how a lot of people could take that in the worst ways possible. It's like if I'm making a joke that's really fucked up, it's between like maybe 3 or 4 of my close friends that know that we're not doing this out of a racist, you know what I mean? Like we've all made fucked up jokes behind the scenes, but we've only made them to people that know us, right? We're not out there making like fucking insane statements.
But so for me, the Ben Shapiro thing that that he did, what I find even weirder about it is that he called out Keemstar for basically making the same joke. Like when Keemstar said to like death toll with the PewDiePie meme, that whole event that was going on, like he was basically commentating on how PewDiePie was getting canceled for a joke, and he said the joke, and Ethan tried to cancel him for that.
Right.
So I find it strange that Ethan would claim that it's just a joke, so it's okay, when he just brought up the Keemstar one again, like this week.
Right.
Yeah, it's like really good timing too.
Yeah,
Especially after
I think there's a separation between two things. I think there's who's saying it and then what was said in the context it was said. So if you're going off who was saying it, then a lot of people are just like, well, you get what you get. You, right? And then if you get past that and you think about what was said in the context it was said, personally, I really don't mind it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I understand, maybe it's not comments you can make online or these kinds of jokes don't fly online, but to me, it's not that deep. It's obviously a joke. It's basically saying you're contributing to the fact that Jewish people are going to be harmed by hiring people who have anti-Jewish sentiment. You're doing all this stuff. Well, if the Holocaust does happen, if it does happen, I hope you're one of the first ones to suffer since you brought us to this place. It's I get what the joke is. It's a pretty clear, like, okay, if you're going to contribute to our circumstances, you should be the first one to pay. I understand what he's trying to say. And so for me, I don't mind the joke itself. And I generally defend people's right, even if I hate the person involved, to be able to make jokes like that.
I listen, if you ask me,
I'm pointing out the hypocrisy angle.
Yes,
That's what bothers me more than the joke.
I agree with that portion.
If I think about the joke, I personally would wish we lived in an internet where we're allowed to make these kind of jokes. You know what I mean? Like, here's my rule, okay? Like, I have pretty thick skin. Like, if you make a joke about me or my kind or whatever, right? Like, I'm not going to fucking sit and argue and yell at you back. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a joke, I'll take it as a joke. I can think of a million jokes to counter back to, right? Like, it's just how it is. Not the end of the world. When I see like the whole like Holocaust statement, it's like, okay, so you get banned for it. I don't agree with it, but it's like, if this was the other way around, right? Like, imagine if Abba, you said this, the exact same thing, replace Ben Shapiro with Ethan Klein, like so on and so forth, right? Obviously, it would be a joke. You're speaking on it with like extra context. I feel like you would not be given the same charity. You would not be like allowed to, like, nobody would let you know that it would be a joke. If I was Ben
Shapiro saying it, or if it's Abba saying this joke?
Well, if you were Ben Shapiro, let's just go with that.
If I'm Ben Shapiro, no. I also think it's a bit different. When a Jewish person's making their own Holocaust joke versus like, some Yakubian, Kanye fan just being like, well, actually, the Holocaust happens.
That's not me.
It's like the N-word rule, right? It's like it's like black people have reclaimed it. It's like same thing with Jewish people, right? Like people have reclaimed certain slurs and events to themselves.
I don't know. I'm a little iffy on my take on that because I saw a clip of him this week also, because a lot of people are bringing up how Ethan is being anti-Semitic, and I was like, Ethan's a Jew. What does that mean? Like, on one of his vlogs in Israel, he went around basically roasting all the like ultra-Orthodox Jews for like their dress codes and their hairstyles, and he was like, "This is disgusting. They're gross people. These are like the gross Jews." It's like I find
it's fucked up, and it also those people are the ones that usually are the most targeted because they're the most identified out in public for that kind of stuff.
They're also generally the most extreme.
Yeah, they are.
I think that's a large generalization too. Like I know a bunch of them. I would not say that they are
not all of them extreme. Yeah.
I think politically, I might be speaking out of turn, but I remember like watching
politically, perhaps, but they don't go ahead and they don't do anything.
No.
Okay.
You never see like hate crimes coming from them.
I think it's like if you can identify how conservative somebody is, generally that's an idea of like, maybe that's where they stand. But it's like, you're right. There's so many outliers in a situation, right? Like, hell, some people could look like me and they might be the most conservative, like, Muslims you'd ever find, right? Like, vice versa. So again, it is definitely. I don't want to contribute to any of that nonsense generalization. Okay, we're like one of the people that can actually have a conversation about this shit versus getting into a fucking pissing match and going with like what's flavor of the month. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, so briefly, where do you guys stand? If you had to just say it in a few sentences, do you think you should be banned? Yes or no?
Oh, I don't think Ethan Klein should be banned. No.
Or
Ethan, no. I don't think he should be banned.
I don't think he should be banned, but I do think it's pretty warranted of a strike.
I can't have sympathy for somebody that would dance if somebody had a strike, if vice versa. You know what I mean? Like,
agreed.
it's when I say it's saying about Andrew Tate. Like, I don't agree with anything Andrew Tate says. I think the guy's like, the only thing that I could agree with Andrew Tate is like when he tells you, hey, eat right, get fit, look better, right? Like, hey, if he tells you to do that, fuck anybody. You don't need somebody to tell you to do that. That should just be like ingrained, right? Like, eat right, get fit, live longer, okay? Have a good, happy life. Fuck anybody could. A crackhead could tell me that, and I would take it with the same level of veracity as Andrew Tate. But, like, I don't agree with obviously a lot of Andrew Tate's views on, women and like, hustles and all this kind of stuff. Doesn't mean I want the guy banned. Doesn't mean I want anybody banned. I feel like these kind of scenarios, you should be able to like have them challenged in the grand sphere. Obviously, that's not a normal point, right? Like there's no marketplace of ideas these days. I've just always been used to arguing and like, just having a challenge with some of these people and sometimes meeting in the middle, right? Like, hey, sometimes what people say, it's not entirely wrong, but it's like, hey, I want to further clarify. I want to understand somebody. And, if I feel like I'm right, I think I can defend my point, like that's where I stand. But yeah, I feel like banning people just reinforces them in the eyes of like those who are so attached to them. Like if you ban Kanye,
it deifies them in a way.
Yeah, I think people are really cheering this ban and they're very happy about it. I think mostly because it's Ethan, but also a lot of people just feel like these kinds of jokes are unacceptable and bans should be the thing. And I hate the idea of that becoming the norm because you're going to just watch the needle move ever so progressively in this direction until like, even when Caleb makes a conspiracy theory about Jewish people on someone's
Which I do often.
Yeah.
You can tell by the arch of my eyebrows I was being sarcastic.
That's a good disclaimer. Yeah, I feel like that needle is going to move ever so constantly. And I also noticed that YouTube is super reactive to news coverage. Like, I do not believe that joke wouldn't have flown if there wasn't a media uproar. But once Fox News and all these places started picking it up, I think YouTube had to act. And so I hate that idea as well.
Yeah, it's like they're not doing it out of like policing the platform necessarily. It's like, oh, we don't want to look bad in the news circles, so let's just fucking cave in. It's like, like 1,000 people are going to read that fucking article, okay? It's not representative of the grand sphere. It's like, it's funny because like if you think about it, YouTube, like Google promotes this in their news blocks when you look up something, right? Like if you Google like Ethan Klein, it's like Ethan Klein destroyed for anti-Semitism. YouTuber popular. Like that shows up on Google.com. Dude, honestly, if Google gave less fucking traffic to these news sites, they didn't have to worry about it. It's like that's how I know about it. I'm like, oh, let's see what's going on. Before I even look at. Like, okay, if you said something anti-Semitic up, I swear to God, if like any news article picked it up, before your channel shows up in the Google search, I would just see all of your negativity plastered by Google themselves. It's like friendly fire.
I'm not even going to lie. I probably have repeated something, probably anti-Semitic or something like that. One thing that's also weird is because they're such a small population and they're not easily identifiable, most people actually never really get too many opportunities to interact with Jewish people or be around Jewish faith. So I'll be honest with you, I'm completely like ignorant to most things relating to Jewish people. So I might have completely ignorant views on the matter itself. It's like even when it comes to like indigenous people, like I didn't know this, but like probably like the whole Native American thing is an inappropriate way to refer to them as, and so they get really upset by.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
I didn't even know
if you don't spend time around them or you don't know, then these are things that you won't be aware of, and so. If I'm looking at myself and all my content, and if Jewish people had brought up, I probably said something that was probably off the wall for sure. I would probably own that.
I mean, listen, if you looked up any of our old school, like this, if you looked up old school Xbox Live messages, anything, I probably said some wild shit. Like, no, I'm not even joking. Like, no, I'm not even kidding. Like, I'll be the first to admit it. Like years ago, I probably said some wild shit as jokes, and there might have been a point in my younger life where, like, maybe I even believed it subconsciously. But I think one of the most important things is, as like I grew up and I entered the working world, right? So like post high school, everything. And I started interacting with tons of other people of tons of other cultures, races, backgrounds, orientations. Like my whole life, like my worldview really changed. Like I became genuinely more accepting and like more understanding of the world. And I honestly wanted to learn more about other people too. So it's like there's those factors to take in as well. Like, you're right. We don't have a lot of connection to like Jewish people. There's not a whole lot of them around. Right. So it's like
I don't know any.
Yeah, you don't really see a lot of them.
I want to ask next a question. This is the big, and I think the most important question.
This is the Jew episode.
All right. It's super important. Okay.
I'm ready.
Do you feel like there's some people who contribute to like anti-Jewish sentiment? Do you feel like there's some Jewish people who contribute to that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think that Okay, so here's a funny example. Not that this is a funny situation at all. There was very often when there's a hate crime that happens, and let's say it happens to a specific race or whatever. More often than not, those people start talking about how there need to be movements against the hatred towards that specific race. That's the most popular outcry that comes from something like that. What I find very strange is that whenever there's a hate crime against Jews, like there was one a bunch of years ago in, goddamn, where was it? I don't know. It was right next to Canada. It was in America, right next to Canada, a little city there.
Okay.
Not Pittsburgh. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so
so U.S. side.
They
Okay.
It was on the U.S. side. They asked someone, and they said, "Why are you making this like an anti-Semitic thing? Make this against racism at large." Like, and I just felt like that was a little strange because it should always. You're right. Racism at large is the problem, but also it breaks down into many separate facets as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do think that.
Are there any Jewish people who engage in this kind of behavior?
I do think
Yeah.
so.
Now, if you were to
You're gonna
picture
say
these
Ben
people,
Shapiro?
right, and the Holocaust were to happen again, would you want them to go first?
I wouldn't say that they're contributing to the Holocaust happening.
Okay.
I mean, if they're
So I
platforming
wouldn't.
people that, or like they're allowing people to gain power that could cause that to happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be the question.
That is the Ethan Klein logic.
Yeah.
Right. I know. I get the Ethan Klein logic. I just don't think it's logical per se. I don't think Ben Shapiro is causing a Holocaust.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly,
think
Ben
that-
Shapiro to me has always just seemed like a guy that's making his money in his side of the political sphere.
I think the
And,
argument
like,
was the Daily Wire employs people who spread anti-Semitism. Specifically, I think they were mentioning Candace Owens on the episode. If I remember my research, half decent. I'm just trying to be as charitable to Ethan because I think a lot of us dislike him. So, you know,
I mean, I have no dislike. It's just one of
have
those things
no
where it's
dislike.
like you have to.
I want you to search deep in your soul right now. Do some introspection.
I don't have dislike for the sole reason that like whatever beef I think we had is like all sorted out. It's not a big deal. Like I've talked to him on numerous times talking about like certain topics. He's like I don't have dislike for him because it's like whatever your side or your beliefs or your thoughts are, it's like that's your own thing. But like I don't feel any harm to myself or him. Like there's no bad blood. It's just I don't agree with a lot of things he will say on the H3 podcast, but I think it's like any other YouTuber. The only people that I dislike are those that are willingly financially scamming fans or anybody. Like that's really harmful to me. If you have a take that I don't agree with, whatever. Tons of people I don't agree with on the internet doesn't mean I'm going to fucking dislike or have hate for you in my heart. The only like when I talk about hate, it's usually like strong discontent for like things like like for instance when he referred you on the H3 podcast. I'm like that's really irresponsible. Obviously that didn't happen to me, but like if I was in your situation, fuck the guy. You know what I mean? Like fuck
I
him.
just feel like he just he does that very consistently, where he purposefully removes context from a situation or purposefully misrepresents people, and even when corrected, he goes ahead with it. That's the stuff that makes me. I agree with. There's plenty of people I disagree with. I don't care about that portion. To me, it's the disingenuous stuff where you knowingly misrepresent somebody in order to make them seem worse than they actually are. That's what I can't stand.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like there's plenty of YouTubers, like plenty of political side YouTubers that like make statements. I remember there was like one about like Vosh, for instance, years ago, and this is my first this is the first time I heard about him. Right, like it was like the whole like child statement. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like. Just to put it into like PG-13 sake, it was like, hey, kids are like, it was like, hey, there's no ethical like fucking what is, there's no like, I'm sorry, there's no ethical reason child material should be bad. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, you know what I mean? Like, it was a wild statement if you heard it, right? I heard the statement and I was like, this is disgusting. Obviously, then I looked into the context of it. I'm like, okay, so this guy's comparing like child exploitation to like another form of child exploitation, which is like mining for batteries or like doing child labor out in like parts of the world. Yes. I'm like, I understand it. It's still not something I believe in. You know what I mean? Because it's like, hey, if you're going to make a computer, inherently to make a computer, the child like exploitation is not a necessary component of it, right? You can always source ethical labor. Whereas for the other thing, you're always harming somebody no matter what, right? Like, that's kind of where I get into it.
You don't think that's why kids love Minecraft so much, because they yearn for the mines?
Honestly, yeah, I feel like it might be as okay. See what you just did? You just did the subconscious Kanye West Hanukkah like gold coin meme.
Yes.
Right? It's like
I knowingly made a joke.
kids are strip mining. I know you made a joke. Kids are strip mining in Minecraft. They must like it in real life. It's like fuck. No, it's like there's tons of people that make like
it's weird.
Dude, tons of people make absurd shit. I don't get into it. Like, I don't even bother like getting into the. You're right though. I do get really fucking peeved when it's like you're being really disingenuous about these situations, and it's like I just don't think it's good at investigative research. I just think it's good in general to like be like that, especially when it's so easy to counter and like figure out. Like a lot of the people in every political side make statements that are so easily countered. And there's so much nuance you can easily look up, but we live in a world where people don't take the extra 5 minutes to like aggregate the information and figure things out for themselves. It's just like it's a team sport thing. It's like you're literally on one side or the other. That's it. Like it comes down to it.
Speaking of teams,
go ahead.
Because I wanted to bring up a spicy take that's completely unrelated. You guys ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Outside of the PC Master Race, I think the PlayStation 2 is the greatest console of all time.
Brother, I've been saying this for like years.
Let's go. I'm just saying.
Are you? Dude, you have no idea how many people jack off the GameCube like it's no tomorrow. I'm like, listen,
not even close.
Unless I'm playing the fucking McDonald's play place, like PlayStation 2 is just where it's at. Perfect fucking video games.
I only had an Xbox original.
That's the only console you've ever had?
I've never played a PlayStation 2.
Oh. What about you, Nux?
Are you never
deprived?
I've definitely played a PlayStation 2.
Yeah. PlayStation 2's like
had one, but I definitely played on one.
PS2s when they were let me tell you, PlayStation 2's like weakest console of that generation by far. Like Xbox clearly stronger, no joke about it. Halo came out like fucking looked way better than anything on our boxes. Honestly, like a lot of those multi-platform games at the time for Xbox were just like way better looking. Like I went to a friend's house. I remember Need for Speed Most Wanted was the game, right? Like I had Need for Speed on the PS2. I'm like, this shit looks nice. I go to my friend's place on Xbox. I'm like, whoa, yeah, like 10 graphical features. I know what the fuck. but then like they always came back to my place because it's like shit. You have San Andreas. That's all we ever wanted. Yeah. Like my GameCube friends were like, fuck. We only had like Mario and Metroid. Like, fuck, let's go over to your house. Like the actual cool games.
What'd you say?
I never enjoyed playing the GameCube. I always felt like it was I just didn't understand the games. I still don't like Nintendo stuff. I don't know why.
N64 was my second favorite console just because 4-player multiplayer on N64 is unrivaled. And it also came at a time where people still met up to hang out. So like there was nothing like linking up with 3 of your friends and playing Smash Bros or Mario Party or Mario Kart, like, and you do it locally. That was like when multiplayer was like you actually did that with friends all the time. So I think that's what was amazing.
The only two consoles I have now are an Xbox original and a N64. So.
Yeah, N64, even to this day, if you want to hang out with 3-4 friends, you just plug it in, you start playing, and y'all having fun. So it's still one of those things that I think has a special place in my heart, just because it was very unique in what it offered.
I recently, like a few buddies of mine came over, and we just played like Xbox 360 games, split screen. Like we played it through the Xbox One because. Dude, I miss split screen gaming. I really do. I miss the era where like you could have because I find it so weird how we have like access to 80-inch televisions, like these big ass fucking flat screens. Bro, back in the day when we were playing GoldenEye, anything split screen, do you understand how it's like kids these days don't understand? We were playing on like fucking box televisions. They are smaller than our monitors, like our computer monitors these days. And we were split screening on that shit. Yep. And we had a time. Now we have these 80-inch televisions, OLEDs, beautiful displays, and we're not even promoting split screen. It's like this game came out, Gotham Knights, right? Pile of shit, in my opinion. But me and my brother would have played it split screen on our PlayStation if we had the option, right? Yeah. Like that's some of my best experiences with my brother. It's like, oh shit, Halo came out. Hey, sign up. Let's fucking split screen that shit together. Yeah. You can't do that anymore. No. They don't even fucking They just want you to buy another box and play from your house, isolated with your family. It's like
You used to have an honor system too. When you play multiplayer and you guys play against each other, you say, "Don't look at my screen. Don't look at my corner."
Oh, I straight up lied the whole time. I did not. I'll be the first one. I lied to my brother straight up. You bet my ass was looking right at the second monitor. I'm like, oh, that's where you spawn. I'm gonna just magically show up there. Everyone looked at everyone's screen.
Everyone cheated that portion. Did you look up how many games came out on the PS2? One of the things, like, is just sheer volume. There was like close to like 9,000 video games that came out. By comparison, you have to imagine on the PlayStation 3, I think they lowered the number to somewhere like 2,700, and on the PlayStation 4, it was just 3 digits. So every generation afterwards, there were less and less games. Now, people might say, well, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. But I think, and maybe you can back me up on this, what was distinctly different for me when I played PlayStation 2 was I remember I used to go in a Blockbuster. And I didn't know anything about any of the video games there. And I would just pick out one that looked interesting based off the cover art or the back of it, and I would try it out. And I would find gems. So there was low expectations, and from there, I was always mesmerized by people doing kinds of crazy stuff. And so that was kind of part of the magical experience for me when I played PlayStation 2.
Yeah, one of the things I find myself guilty of is, like, every time I see a game that, like, I don't recognize at a store, because I usually do that. I go out for groceries and, like, Walmart and shit like that or whatever, and I'm like, I go to the computer. My favorite thing is always going to the bargain bin section and finding like the fucking sale video games. I'm like, what do I not recognize? Yeah. But now I'm like, oh shit, here's a game, and I immediately Google and I'm checking for reviews, and I'm like, fuck, I could have just bought this, and either it would have been one of the fucking coolest games I had played in the year, or it could just be a shithole. But whatever, I'm willing to like part with $20 for the fucking gamble, right? Yeah. You're right. Like,
buying games is like walking down the streets of LA without Google Maps.
Exactly.
Either it's going to be some gorgeous houses, you never know, or a shithole.
But at least it's going to be an adventure.
Toss of the coin. You don't, but it will be an adventure.
Absolutely.
I have the funniest story with that too. Like, we did the same thing. Me and my girlfriend, we were out in Texas. So this is out in like fucking like Houston and shit. And the best part about it is, like, so we lived on a street, like we were staying on this one street, like Alabama something. And so I guess we didn't know how the map worked in the car that we rented. So we just typed in Alabama and like clicked on the first thing. I'm like, how many Alabama streets are they going to have in fucking Houston, right? So we click on this one street and we're driving. And like we're like the street lights start dissipating. There's like street lights. There's not a whole lot of them anymore. There's not even cars. And then I make the statement. I'm like, honey, I haven't seen a sheriff patrolling the area for the last 6 minutes. I don't know. So we pull into the
Yakubian territory.
Bro, let me tell you, there was just hell. So we pull in to arguably. Have you ever seen Skid Row? For instance?
Yeah, for sure.
Like Los Angeles. Well, let me tell you, Skid Row is a lot safer than the street we pulled into, because as soon as I pulled us right into the street, and we're the only people in like a nice vehicle driving in, right? Like, you got these meth heads just like staggering around like zombies in the street, and I'm like, honey, I don't think this is the same street we were staying at. This is a little risky, dude. The cars, as soon as they saw my car, just closed their lights and like immediately shut off. Like, I was like, damn, they must think I'm like the cartel boss driving into the area checking up on them. I'm like, shit, no,
dude,
bro. So we're pulling out, and I'm navigating to the freeway right there. I'm getting to the freeway. Bro, we're at the freeway entrance, and the way that Houston freeways work is it's super out there. There's no on-ramp sometimes. It's just like, hey, make a right, fucking immediately go 85 miles an hour. Like, just fucking dart your car. You're merging on the oncoming freeway traffic. Before the light's red at this freeway entrance, and then you got this like crackhead on the sidewalk. He like looks at our car. Only one car in the area. It's us and this crackhead. Dude, he picks up this pipe, and like in my head, I have like this Dark Souls like HUD pop up. I'm like, I just see a health bar and this fucking dude walking towards. I'm like, honey, if that light doesn't turn green, I'm breaking the fucking law. I'm just going. I don't care if there's a red light camera. I don't care if there's a cop. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Luckily, it turned green and we pulled out. That was one of my favorite like experiences. It's like, if you don't know how to use a map, you end up in the wildest parts of town. Like, you see the best parts and you see like absolute shit. And it goes back. It's like, bro, you get to explore. You like, expectations get tested. And even if like, hey, it's not ideal, at least you get like a fucking story out of it that you remember years down the road.
Think about reviews and walkthroughs. Think about what they represent. There's somebody's indication of how they felt when they played the game. The problem with that is that's their experience and their own taste buds coming into it and influencing it. Plenty of times I've disagreed with their review and I've played it, but think about all the people who never get to try a game because they went on IGN and saw a shit review and decided not to play it. People are missing out on great gaming experiences. People are missing out on things, or they're going in with expectation because they heard this game was a 10, but when they played it, it's like, for me, it's like an 8. But now I'm really severely disappointed because I came in with these high expectations. And so I think that's where gaming kind of gets ruined to some degree.
I just look at the review. Like, for me, a review's never stopped me from buying a game. Like, I made a video where I'm like, hey, Gotham Knights is shit. But hey, listen, if you like it, I mean, fuck it. There's plenty of games I love. And they are fucking dog shit experiences. I 100% agree, you know? But it's like, you have to walk in with because you're right. Like, when you look up somebody's like walkthrough and review, it's like, it's very much their experience. And it's like, unless you have the context of what that person's into, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes IGN, I swear to God, and this pisses me off, they get like somebody that's like exclusively only played strategy games on the computer. Like, this fucker's playing Age of Empires for 80 hours a day, right? Like 24 hours in a day, this motherfucker's only playing Age of Empires, is all I'm saying. Super knowledgeable on real-time strategy games. And then the IGN like producer comes and it's like, hey, buddy, Tom, have you played Need for Speed? I don't know if that's your kind of game or anything. So this guy's given Need for Speed to review, has no idea about cars, the mechanics, and then you come across this scathing review of Need for Speed. It's like, there's just no strategy in it. I'm not building units. It's just cars. Like, all you do is like, motherfucker, you're the wrong person to sit down and look at this. Why? Yeah. It's like,
on the other hand, if all he does is strategy games and he comes into Age of Empires, he's like, well, this toggle feature's missing and this scrolling feature's missing. As a normie who was interested in trying it, I'm hearing all these negative things when really I probably don't care about any of these features, but the fans do. So even me, that reviewer, is not useful for me because I just wanted to try the game because I think the units look cool. But that's not what he cares about. So that's the ways in which reviewing changes.
Some people get really into it.
Yeah, I think the mysteriousness of games is...
I think reviewing... Okay, mysteriousness definitely has its upside. All your points are completely valid. There is validity to reviews as well. Right? If you want to go watch a movie and you don't know how good these movies are, and there's 20 movies playing in theaters, aren't you more likely to watch the one with the highest reviews than the mid one?
Yeah, I tend to like.
For example, you know, Parasite, like the Korean drama. Parasite?
Sure, yeah, really good movie.
Fantastic. I would have never watched it ever if it wasn't for the reviews. I would have never found it. I would have never watched it. It's because it beat the Joker in the whatever Oscars or something.
I watched it because I remember Charlie made a video where he was like fucking shitting on somebody for like hating this movie, and I'm like, I guess I'll check it out. Me and Charlie have similar interests. Let's go watch this movie. And I was like, damn, all right, cool.
I didn't watch it because I don't speak Korean.
Makes sense.
Okay, well, you got subtitles, asshole.
You did. And he's about to be like, I don't read either.
I can't read. I can fucking barely speak English.
Well, there's this movie that came out, like Black Adam. Apparently, like the critics fucking hate this movie, but like the fans love it. I have no idea if it's good or not.
I can't watch, man. I don't know. This is something about it. But yeah,
you don't like The Rock?
Listen, this dude is everywhere.
Like anti-Semitism to me.
90% anti.
I have to actually think about that. I'm like, is The Rock Jewish? Did I miss something?
90% audience score and 39% tomato meter. That's insane.
Okay, hold on. I gotta say one thing. And this is on the topic of like superhero movies. How much of that is just like nerds jizzing over the fact that like their favorite comic books are coming to life, and the actual quality of the movie? Okay, because some of because some of these Marvel movies have been dog shit. I think people are just so happy to see their nerds.
Some of them, dude. Anything after Endgame mostly has been dog shit. I watched the TV. I'm like, no.
That is really nice of you to say that the Marvel movies before Endgame were.
Yeah, that's also very nice. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a big hater. So honestly, I hate this new era of like superhero jizz everywhere.
I just
one of the top reviews.
I watched them. I was like,
sorry, go ahead.
No, listen, I'm not like I don't want to come across as like a Marvel defender. I just like I casually watch the movies. Listen, here's my role with movies. Okay, I had this discussion with somebody a long time ago. It was about Fast and the Furious. Now, I'm a huge Fast and the Furious fan. Okay, I don't fuck around with that shit. I know the whole lore of that franchise on the back of my hand. All right, I've done the math. I've done the math on the runway scene myself before the viral YouTube video came out. So I'm a huge fan of it, right? Now, I've had buddies who are like, why could you watch it? It's just cars and like Vin Diesel, like talking about family. I'm like, homie, if you walked into the theater and you bought a ticket to Fast and the Furious and you expected some deep storyline, well, that's on you. Yeah, you're dumb as fuck. Like, that's on you.
Ties
bro.
into what I was going to say perfectly. One of the verified reviews, the top verified reviews for an audience member, is by a guy named David. It's 5 stars. It says it wasn't boring.
Let's go.
Wow.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
5 stars. 5 stars.
5 stars, dude. Great action.
Easy to please.
Okay,
Easy to
I
please
asked
right
people
there. I
what
love
they
it.
liked about Black Adam. Apparently, there's just action the whole time, and the story sucks. But there's action the whole time, and it's cool.
That's dope.
Like apparently, so like the critics are like, yes, but the plot, you know,
That's
not
what
as
I do
tight
with
as
Fast and the
Ant-Man
Furious.
Wasp,
Listen,
you know.
that's literally what I've done with Fast and the Furious. It's like, so okay, Fate of the Furious, the 8th movie that came out, dude. Everyone I talk to is like, that movie sucks ass. And so I remember this is exactly. So I delayed myself watching this movie because I had like a lot of work at the time. So it took me like a month to watch the 8th Fast and the Furious. Every one of my friends and family members like, the movie sucks. The story is awful. And immediately when somebody tells me the story for Fast and the Furious is awful, I'm like, you dumb as fuck. You walked in with the worst expectations. So like, I go to the theater. It's the last like showing of it, right? Finally, so I watched the movie, dude. I fucking loved it because I wasn't walking into it like, all right, let's psychoanalyze the story in Vin Diesel. I'm like, yeah, Vin Diesel doesn't even care. Vin Diesel's just trying to like show off his muscles and drive fast cars. All they had was, dude, they had an entire scene in the 8th Fast and the Furious
because there weren't enough fights. Like, it's a political drama. Like, you have to know what you're getting into.
Yeah, that's why I didn't watch Game of Thrones because I'm like, man, I'm not really into the whole like, you know, fucking old world. You know, the same reason why I don't watch Harry Potter. It's like I don't give a fuck about magics and like European.
But if you ask Harry Potter fans, they'll be like, that's the greatest franchise, and they'd be like, I understand it. I think when you are so emotionally invested in a series of books or whatever, and you've grown up with it to some degree, like the series means something more to you. But I don't think it makes for great movies for people who are not part of that realm. And I don't know. I also noticed this, like the oversaturation of superhero movies. Once like Hollywood realized there's so much easy money to be made, they're pumping them shits out every other week. Every other week, I feel like there's a new one. I'm like, bro, can we just go back to making like movies that like take a chance? But they don't want to because I understand there's a financial implication. I just think it's unfortunate that like from where we were with movies to where we are now, which is like everything is about either remakes or superhero movies. I find it kind of unfortunate.
You're just a hater.
I know. That's what I always get told.
Dude, it's like, but I agree though. It's like you're right. Like superhero movies, like it's like after you watch one Marvel movie, they already have like the trailers for the next one. It's so fucking corporate. Like it really just feels like a corporate thing. It's like, oh,
I'm such a hater. I'm such a natural hater that I didn't even watch The Mandalorian as soon as I found out about Baby Yoda because I was like, they're just trying to fucking make some shit to sell figurines.
Yeah,
that's what Baby Yoda is just a way to sell stuff.
I just thought that it was Star Wars, and I gave no fuck about it.
I'm not gonna lie. I think they didn't. I don't think they knew Baby Yoda was going to be that big of a deal. Season 2, they oversaturated the fuck out of it, trying to maximize it. But season 1, I don't think they knew. I don't think they knew it was going to be.
I did not watch Mandalorian either. There's just way too much Star Wars. I feel like Star Wars. The prequels are where it peaked, and that was it.
And when the prequels, the only reason that one of the primary things about the prequels, they changed characters in the movie before it was released, just so they could sell more product, just so they could sell more merch.
All right,
like
so
it's like in the George. What is his fucking name? George Lucas.
Lloyd.
There's a documentary about the prequels, and they like actually altered the movies based on what would sell the best in terms of toys. Yeah. So it's like been.
Did they actually?
We're about to talk,
like I remember.
We're about to talk some shit on YouTubers right now.
What happened?
I remember.
No, we're about to talk shit because this whole thing bleeds right into like. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to mention they pushed General Grievous a lot in Star Wars. Before the movie came out, they pushed General Grievous, like the action figures and stuff, like crazy.
Yeah, because he was going to sell figures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one ever heard of this guy.
Scam.
Ever. They scammed the fans before crypto.
My point here is like, so like, you know, like we're talking about like fucking pushing like the corporate ideologies. Like they're not really ready to take a chance. So I like horror games. I really do. I grew up with shit like Resident Evil 2. Didn't grow up with Silent Hill or anything, but Resident Evil 2, a lot of horror games. I used to play the shitty bargain bin horror games too. Like I played X-Files, the horror game on PlayStation, which was decent. Okay, I'll just say that. Look for it. But nowadays, I hate horror games. I really do, and I hate it because of like this YouTube culture. Like, there's a few channels. Like, I like Markiplier. I love him a lot. Okay, but when that motherfucker's titling Five Nights at Freddy's heart attack warning, like jumps, I'm done. Like, I'm over it, man. I'm like, motherfucker, this is too much. Yeah. It's like they're not games. It's like you're sitting there playing.
I respect
those are
boring ass Flash games.
I respect Markiplier's titling schemes. At least I feel like he's very honest about it.
I love
He's
Markiplier.
very callous about the fact that he knows that this is it's a kid's game. When you see MatPat titles, though, you know, the truth finally uncovered, the final video. You know, it's like, oh, okay, dude.
Dude, I that's the thing that gets me. It's like, yeah, okay, as a kid, I grew up with like some of the coolest horror games ever. These kids are growing up with shit like Poppy's Playtime. So I'm okay. Yeah. You know what's insane? Like,
how about
go ahead.
How about unintentional horror like 343 Guilty Spark and Halo Combat Evolved? How about that? I didn't sleep for months after I played that. I thought my parents were going to turn into the flood and die.
Yeah, no, like, dude, no, there's no creepy shit like that. Like, okay,
you know,
there's a cool horror game every once in a while. There is, like, don't get me wrong, hey, but like nowadays these kids are growing up with these like mascot characters. So this Poppy Playtime shit, right? Like, it's just like 10-15 minute horror game, right? Which is like whatever, it's okay made, but clearly they're making it to sell merchandise, right? And like all the kids just eat that shit up. Kids love it,
dude. The amount of like I see it everywhere. Yeah. Like the Poppy
every
Playtime
time I go to a
just
mall,
like little plushies and
every time I go to a mall, it's there. Every time I go to a mall, it's that shit, dude. I was on like Venice Beach like last month. Bro, there was like at least 4 stalls with that shit, like Among Us and all that. That's all it is. That's all these games are. I feel like the YouTuber cycle feeds into it. You know how many YouTubers that I have talked to? I'm not naming names here because like y'all know who the fuck you are. I've talked to them and they've genuinely come at me. It's like, you know that Poppy's Playtime? I think it's about as scary as like Silent Hill 2 or like Resident Evil back in the day. I'm like, you're fucking like, listen, it's okay to lie to your prepubescent fans. I get it. Like, I understand it's a hustle. At least don't lie to me in a DM and fucking cope about it. Like, what the?
Yeah,
like
there are some scary ones.
Self-respect, bro. Have some self-respect.
Visage. You ever played Visage, Muda?
I did. Game Pass.
Dude, Visage is fucking scary.
I love games.
It's a fucking scary
when
game.
It's pronounced that way.
I love.
I literally shit myself like Nikocado Avocado.
I love games where it's just like horror atmosphere. Like it's not a jump scare, but it's like you just feel uneasy about it. You know. Like there was a game back in the day,
Slenderman's where it's at. Yeah.
There was a game back in the day that like literally scarred me as a kid. You ever heard of the game Manhunt, like on PlayStation?
No.
You ever played it? Okay, so like
I heard of
I
Minecraft.
did, yeah.
Okay, so Manhunt is like it's a snuff game. It's like a game where like you're filming a snuff movie. So like it's a stealth game where you're running around like chopping people up, like just that's all it is. It's like a fucking fucked up snuff game. There's this boss battle at the end where you're stuck in some attic. And there's like this dude naked with a pig's head on chasing you around like really fast. Like he's like double the speed of any other character in the game. And you only have a limited amount of stamina. So when I'm playing this as a kid, I didn't even expect this. I'm walking, minding my own business. This chainsaw wielding, pig wearing is running around. And I'm genuinely scared. I'm like, dude, this guy's going to jump out of the TV and kill me. Like there's going to be something wrong. Like there was some pulse pounding shit. Nowadays when I'm playing horror games, I'm like, damn, this is some generic merchandise material. Like, I'm not getting that same fear that I once had. You know, I'm not getting that like genuine sense of dread.
I did play, man. That's one of the only PlayStation games I actually remember playing. Yeah. Maybe that and was there a game called like Road Rash or something on PlayStation 1?
There was, yeah.
Rage or something like that. With you could ride a motorcycle and you could kick people beside you.
Yeah,
those are like the only 2 games I ever played on PlayStation: Manhunt and then that one, Road Rash or Road Rage.
You guys are probably experts in horror genre. It's really not my thing. But I did hear something interesting in regards to horror movies specifically, where they said the reason why older horror movies are much more popular and then also much better well received is that the way that they set up horror in old movies is that there was the dread of the unknown, that the monster itself wasn't this clear-cut, CGI'd super well-defined creature. It was definitely left a lot to your imagination, and it was very obscure generally, which created the terror, letting your imagination make you more frightened than whatever the CGI of today could do.
Yeah.
Do you guys think there's some truth to that, or do you disagree?
I absolutely 100% agree.
I do agree as well.
There's this movie that
It's like
just
for
came out.
the horror thing. Like, do you know It, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
that terrified me.
I think the new It is not nearly as scary as the old It.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the reason why is because they wanted to market the clown. Like, that was
Smart.
the marketing. Whereas in the old movie, it was all about that shock factor that what's going on here is pulling kids into sewers and stuff. That's really creepy.
I can't walk near sewers to this day. Like I see a sewer
Yeah.
train, I literally go around it
Yeah.
because when I watched that as a kid, that terrified me so much.
Yeah. No. Like there's
Red
it's,
balloons.
it's the fear of unknown that really like makes the older like horror movies stand out. 100% like agreed. Because nowadays, like when I watch a horror movie, like there's this movie that came out, Smile, for instance, right? Like I don't know if you guys watched it. I just saw it in the theaters. Decent movie. It's okay.
Good one.
There's a part in the beginning of the movie, right? Yeah, it had the viral marketing. I know. There's like a part in the movie where like people like smile at you and then they like can kill themselves right in front of you. It's like the game where like the whole premise of the movie is like person who's like being hunted down by this like supernatural entity. They kill themselves in front of you and then it passes on to you. It's like an STD. The best part about that movie was like not knowing what it was, right? Like, so you start off with this movie, like, why is this happening? Like, it's just disturbing imagery. And it's like, why is this going on? And then they kind of screw it up at the end because they show the CGI monster. And I'm like, oh man, like what the, it was so much better when I was like, kind of like genuine. Cause like the whole movie is filled with just an unnerving sense of dread, right? Like, oh, okay, you don't even know what's real. Like, even the main character doesn't know if they're like awake or sleeping. Like, you have no idea. It's just it plays on like just creepy imagery and unsettling. Like,
You know, a great movie that's like has no jump scares really. That's very scary and is still new. I agree. A lot of the new shit's like not super scary. It Follows is a really good horror movie that's genuinely scary and doesn't rely on anything other than pure suspense. And it's like the snail analogy. Like, would you choose immortality if there was a snail that followed you forever? And then if it touches you, you die or whatever. You just have to keep moving around. It's basically the same thing as that, but it's a person that just like follows you. And then I think you have to fuck somebody.
yeah,
And then
you have
whoever
to
you
have sex to
fuck,
pass it on. Yeah,
yeah. And then whoever you fuck is next in line. And then once they get killed, though, it's back to you. So you got to keep fucking, bro. You got to keep fucking.
you gotta keep grinding. You gotta follow.
You should watch the movie. It's very good. It's an extremely good movie.
You gotta follow the manosphere
It's scary.
way of going into it.
Yeah, it makes you want to start fucking.
I feel like before we tie it off, I feel like before we tie this podcast off, we went through like a range of topics. We went through anti-Semitism to PS2 games, and superhero movies, and our great love for them, apparently. But I think we can always just like.
So speaking of anti-Semitism and horror movies, can I tell you a story that somehow manages to combine
Yes.
both?
Oh,
So when my mom was a kid, all right, my grandfather took her to the movie theater to watch a cute movie just came out, Birds by Alfred Hitchcock. Okay?
What?
Have you ever heard of
No.
it? Birds. It's like one of the most well-known horror movies of all time.
I might not have seen it.
All right, it's a terrifying movie. You've got birds coming in there eating people. It's terrifying. My mom was like a little girl at the time.
Nice.
So they're watching the movie. Halfway through, my mom is terrified. She's like, spoilers, she doesn't sleep for like months. And before that, she's telling, please, Daddy, please, let's leave. And my grandfather, in his typical Jewish fashion, says, I paid for this ticket and we are watching the whole movie.
Oy vey, no.
Awesome.
Okay. He's like, I don't care if you're traumatized. I'm finishing the hour and a half. I'm finishing the fucking runtime.
That's actually awesome. I said it before, but I'll say it again. Your granddad is based, bro.
Dude, he is so awesome.
Yes,
We'll see if I can get him onto the podcast at some point. He's hilarious.
I don't even know if that's like even anti-Semitism. I would have said the same thing to my daughter. I'm like, listen, you know how much a movie ticket costs? All right, fine. We're sticking here. We're sticking to the no.
Cost like 12 cents back in the
I
day.
promise. 90% of the comments are going to be like, get his grandfather on.
100%. No, like
He's a legend. I love him so much.
we've got like three people. It's like we've got mine and Caleb's dad who are like just can and Nux's grandpa, who are like, they could have their own fucking show together. Like, I swear to God, it's...
You can call it the Based Cast.
Yeah, the Based
Get all three of them together.
my like... I'll say something about like my dad. Like anything that you would cancel my dad for, he's already said it. Like it's just what it is. Like on Twitter, like
Same.
everything that's cancelable, my dad literally just says. I even talked to him about it, and my dad's like, dude, I'm like 60 plus. Okay, you think I give a fuck about what some internet losers say? Who gives a shit? My dad looks at me. It's like, son, I'm a cardiologist. You can't cancel me from work. I'll always have fat people to operate on. Is what he said to me. He's like, son,
That's awesome.
son, I'll always be working on fat
Oh
people.
my God.
like he straight up looked at me. He's like, son, you don't have to worry about me and my job. There's always going to be enough people with heart disease for me to fix up. So I'm good on that front. Like, that's all he's like. I'm like, damn, Dad, that's a little wild these days. Shit. This all came up because I was talking to my dad about like the whole like fat phobia thing. And my dad's one of those people who's like, son, there ain't no such thing as fat phobia. He's like, you shouldn't make fun of people for being fat. But if you tell them to take a jog, it's like, there's nothing wrong with what you said there, okay? I say that to people. I say that all the time. Like,
I say that to people for a living.
like,
That's how you say it, you know?
My dad's like, I mean, he's not an asshole about it. He'll just be like, you know, you look like you could benefit from a brisk jog. That might be better than what I'd have to help.
That is rough, though. If someone told me that, I'd be like, well, fuck you then. Or something, you know?
I mean, my dad's just like, listen, I'm a medical professional. I'm just going to tell you what I personally advise, okay? Because, like, he'll have to deal with people that, like, he'll tell me, it's like, listen, there's some people that come in and it's like, they don't take care of themselves, and in 10 fucking years, they're coming into my office, and then they're coming in for a much more invasive procedure. And he's like, he told me, it's like, I would much rather work less because it pisses him off that it's like, bro, like, years ago, if you just followed my basic advice, you wouldn't have to be getting cut open, dude. You think I enjoy
inspiration versus desperation? You got to make one decision.
My dad's sitting over there. He's like every time I'm over, he's like, you think I enjoy cutting people open? Do you understand how hard it is to work on a heart? Like, he's like, I wish I could be any other doctor except like a proctologist or something. I'd rather do anything else than work on hearts. And that's what he's got to deal with. So like, again, it's, we could have like all of our parents on and they'd have like stories to fucking tell. It's a different time. It really is. Like, it's a different group of people. But yeah, based on recent affairs, Andrew Tate, who's been trending again yesterday, because apparently deleting somebody off the internet is totally wiping them off, I guess, has apparently converted to Islam. How do you guys feel about that?
I already knew it.
You knew it.
Go for him.
You knew it.
Follow your dreams.
Follow your dreams, my boy.
I don't think anybody's told Andrew Tate it's like your businesses wouldn't really work well with the principles of your new religion because isn't he own like casinos and shit? It's wild, dude.
Well, it's
He's got his own
but he's
version.
kicking it with super rich people in Dubai.
He's got his own
That's
version
what I
of
think
Islam, all right?
Yeah, I don't think they care. You know what I mean? I think as long as you appear as a Muslim, you do the prayers, and you don't say anti-Muslim things, they'll embrace him, and you know it's good for his brand, so it works out well.
What if he starts going the anti-Muslim arc at one point? Like he goes the fucking beheading arc?
Nah,
no, he's too.
I don't think he never would.
I think it's mostly like he's a smart business guy and he knows exactly what he can and cannot say to an extent.
That's
true.
But that's pretty much what it is. I saw that the other day and people were like kind of surprised. I'm like, I don't really see that surprising. He was always orbiting in those circles anyway, so it's like he's gonna switch to it. I'm like,
I mean, he's pretty conservative.
Pretty? Motherfucker, that dude is like defined conservative. Come on.
Yeah.
Jesus
He
Christ.
believes women are subservient or something.
I've always found
he says they're property.
I've always found it so weird how like anybody can respect a pimp and have like conservative values. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. Like anybody out there like pimping out webcam models and like running casinos and like all these grifts, I've never been able to respect. But you come across this new generation that's like, hey, as long as the guy's rich, respectable, right? I'm like, I just don't see that. Like I don't understand that mentality. I don't get it. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. I don't know what you guys think, but I just think it's a really shitty mentality.
What, the webcam model thing? I mean, at the end of the day, people just see him as like a manager. That's probably what their perception is.
True. He's a manager, but I mean, look at what he's managing.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Gambling
the thing is, for me, it's like, as somebody that's promoting themselves in a trad way, like a traditional style, it just doesn't seem consistent with the values, and that's the one thing that I don't get. Like, I can't respect somebody who wants to come across as traditional, but their values are so,
They go,
opposite, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people separate what people do for work versus what they
That's true.
espouse in terms of like the value. So, for example, someone can claim to be a good person, but like take a politician for example, and like somebody who's like advocating for war, all this other stuff. Like people will separate the human individual from the fact that they're a fucking war criminal.
Yeah, chicken hawk.
That's just how people just do it all the time, and so I think people, oddly enough, are more considerate of like how you behave in private or the things you espouse versus like what actions you actually take or the kind of work that you do.
I just feel you got to be more consistent in your values in my thing, right? Like, and it's wild. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm in like a very big minority. Like sometimes like people will come out and be like, "Hey, what are your thoughts on relationships?" And I come across as like super Andrew Tate-ish when I say this, but I'm like, hey man, I have a pretty traditional view on relationships. I believe like, hey, I'm not like a polyamorous guy. I'm like a pretty traditional, like, hey, I'm with like one person, a woman, and that's it. Like we have a role in our life, and that's pretty much what it goes out to. It's kind of like a lighter way of what, like, I guess somebody like, who's that fucking one guy, Greek god or whatever, when he went on that tangent, and I was just kind of sitting there. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, that's kind of how I saw my mom and dad do their relationship, and it worked absolutely wonderful. And that's what I do, and it works fine for me. I'm also one of those people where it's like, if you live your life your own way, I don't give a fuck. Like, I have my own way of living. Hey, if you want to run like a fucking sex cult and you're my neighbor, as long as you ain't hurting somebody, brother, I could give less of a shit. I'm always on your side to do whatever you want. I don't think anybody should stop you from living your dream. But
Facts.
It's super weird like discussing this kind of shit on the internet. I don't know.
It is. It's a weird place you're in because everyone has their own very fine-tuned opinions based on what they've come up with and what they grew up with, and I feel like for the most part, discussions like this don't conduce to anything.
I grew up. My mom's super independent. My dad's just like a 48-year-old child, so I grew up like that. Where there was just I cleaned. I was the one who cleaned. I was the woman.
Let's go.
Dude, the thing about
I also cooked.
The fucking wild thing about it is like I remember like just reading this one DM. And I leave my DMs open, so it's like I remember I showed up on Destiny's thing, right? And like so I made that trad statement with like Sneeko, and they're like, how can you even talk to Destiny? That he's like in open relationships. I'm like, do I give a like again, like it's not. Yeah, I'm like, dude, it's like the fresh and fit shit where they like crap on him for it.
Fresh and fish.
Yeah, it's like it's where they crap on him, right? For it, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, how could you do that? I'm like, who gives a?
Oh my god,
who gives?
They lost their minds. They're like, oh, they heard him, and they thought he was so based.
Yeah.
And then I think at one point he reveals the fact that like, yeah, he doesn't mind sucking dick. And these people lost their mind. They discredited everything he had to say. They said this guy's a weirdo loser. And I was just like, damn, that happened. I wasn't surprised because I knew it was going to happen. Yeah. But like how quickly it happened was really like, whoa.
Yeah. As soon as anything homosexual got mentioned, they're like, no. We're going full fucking force nuclear. I'm like, damn. Like it's interesting because they'll bring that up about Destiny. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what he does in his free time as long as he's not killing somebody or hurting somebody. Who gives a shit if he sucks dick or like he's in some open? That's not my.
Does
thing.
Destiny suck dick?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's in an open relationship. So like they're married. Like he's married to his like wife, and they like do whatever they want. That's not something I would ever do in a relationship myself. But I don't give a fuck if somebody else does it. I never understood
but it's your call.
I'd be intimidated if Destiny was in there sucking dick. He seems like he's so like persuasive and argumentative.
I feel like you could persuade any of us. He could persuade you into sucking dick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I'd just go in there straight and leave gay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can convert. Yeah, he has that thing going for him. No, it's weird. It's like what people do in their personal life, and this is like. I know that me and you, Abba, have like discussed about establishments. Like I come across as somebody that supports state stuff. You know what I mean? Like I support it, and you're like very anti-establishment. But I think it's like one of the things that we meet up on is like people should just individually like be allowed to be themselves. It's like I only go as far as to say, hey, maybe like have people step in to maintain safety for everyone. But that's pretty much the extent of my like love for the government.
I believe in frontier justice.
I'm not mad at that. Sometimes I want a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Wait, what's frontier justice? Sorry, I'm.
That means there's no real laws. You kind of handle it yourself.
As an example of frontier justice, where I live in the 90s, there was a pedo, and he did horrible things to children, and they found out he was burnt alive in the 90s.
Oh.
And nobody, the police just never investigated it. They just never investigated it. That's called frontier justice.
I mean, I think kids stuff is one of those things where everyone's just like, laws?
Yeah.
We're like
Stupid.
Oh,
Like-
who cares?
we're like, are you?
Whoops.
No, like, dude. Okay, here. Actually, no. I wanted to do this before I leave. Before we all done. What are your thoughts on self-defense? If somebody breaks into your house, do you believe you're allowed to defend yourself?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I think
murdered,
I saw a
killed.
tweet by you.
Yeah, dude.
I saw a tweet by you. You're going to shoot everybody who comes in your home and their families. You're going to find them or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna go full Taken. Apparently,
That's such a Twitter thing to be against. I just don't understand how you could ever.
like it's funny because I understand the nuance. Like, you find these crazy, like, extreme right-wing types that are like, yeah, man, range day. As soon as somebody breaks in, let's bring out all the fucking SMGs. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, no, I'm not crazy, but like, if you break into my house in the dead of night, life is not like a video game. I don't have Fallout VATS to pause time and analyze every single limb and check if you have guns. I'm going into my gun closet. I got to reach for a fucking. I mentioned 45 ACP, so I use like a 1911. That's my preferred sidearm. I'm not bringing an assault weapon.
That's the sidearm he uses for night.
We have
intruders.
the three
specifically.
I live with two other guys. We have an actual plan. If someone breaks in the front door and if someone breaks in the back door, we have a plan. Like, there's an intercom system. As soon as someone breaks in, activate the intercom. I have 3 guns within arm's reach, and so do the other 2 boys. No pistols, all rifles. I have a Benelli M4, a 45-70, and I guess 1 pistol. Yeah, a 9mm. Ready to go. And if there's a nuclear apocalypse, we also have a plan. There's a nuclear reactor within 45 minutes of where I live, so we have to escape within 45 minutes, or we might get some fallout. And I also have some potassium iodide.
Hey, I caught that.
Yeah.
I like
No,
that.
like the thing is, like, self-defense. It's like, I feel like if somebody breaks in, like, okay, I live a bit out, so now, like, it takes 10 minutes for the cops to show up. Bro, I ain't playing 10 minutes in the fucking, like, cell with anybody busting in. If you break into my place, I'm going to defend myself. Simple as that. I don't think that's an insane take to have. I don't think that's wild. Like, bro,
I really don't think it's insane either. I think, in fact, what should you do? Like, what would be the course of action advised by Twitter?
They're like, go into the bathroom and lock yourself in. I'm like, do you like,
why?
What?
Huh?
What? And the other thing is, like, they're just there for your television. I'm like, well, they picked the wrong fucking house to steal the TV from. Like, what?
I'm going to stand in front of my television.
Yeah. Like,
I don't take their opinions too seriously just because
Same.
there's no life
most people who've been in a life or death situation or have been threatened or have had their places broken into don't share that kind of
They're
stuff.
just saying shit.
It just comes from a position. Exactly. There's nobody who like lives around danger on a regular basis who would tell you not to shoot somebody who breaks into your home.
I'm not violent.
So to me, that's why I don't spend as much time as you on Twitter either. So I don't have to hear all these dumb opinions. But most people in the real world, if you broke into their home, they'd say, shoot the motherfucker. I don't care. And this is like pretty true even across like political lines. Probably more so true for Republicans per se. But yeah.
Yeah.
Like somebody broke into your home. You don't have time to figure things out or wait to see if they pull out a weapon or see if they're going to do whatever, because by the time you do, you might already be down, and then it's your family afterwards or your loved ones afterwards. So there's no time to be risking stuff.
If you've ever been in a poorer country where, like, there's a lot of, like, you know, class difference, like India, for instance, it's not uncommon to have a sidearm in your glove compartment or, like, on you or something. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be ready for anything. Like, there's so much street crime that happens. Like, somebody will come up with, like, a firearm to steal your stuff. It's like, as long as you have something, like, strapped, usually, like, well, first off, the country can sometimes be so poor they bring like airsoft guns. So it's like you bring out your rifle, like your pistol, and it's like, this one's real. Like, you want to take a chance, bro? Let's go. Like, it's not even like you're there like ready to kill, because obviously like it's traumatizing to take anybody's life. You know, like nobody understands how scary it is to like have somebody down the barrel of like your gun. But like, what are you gonna do? Like, I have like fucking close. Like, I have like my loved ones. It's like, yeah, of course I'm gonna do what I can. Like, if you've never been in that situation, you're fucking you don't have life experience is all, right? Like, anybody would choose to defend themselves. Anybody would.
Absolutely.
And it's like, but you know, it's illegal where you live. I'm like, listen, I I can hire a lawyer after that experience. I can't hire lawyers once I'm 6 feet in the fucking ground. Okay, there's a difference of choice, you know. Like,
yeah, I mean, self-defense laws in Canada are kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're insane.
Awful.
I live in Texas, so I'm good.
Texas is great. Somebody busts in, it's in castle doctrine. Let's go.
You can just kind of shoot each other.
Yeah. Thankfully, though, out here, break-ins aren't nearly as common.
Yeah.
At least like now.
True.
So that's the other upside of it. But yeah, self-defense laws, like there was a law pretty much is in place where if you want to keep any guns in storage here, you have to have your guns in one safe and then your ammunition in a different safe with different lock
Safe, different part of
combinations,
your
right?
house.
So exactly. So everything is like kind of set up in a way. However, let's say if you're coming back from hunting and then you're on the way inside and a break-in happens to be, then you can use rock.
Yep.
But like, I don't know. To me, I just hear stuff like this. I'm
Makes
like,
sense.
oh, is this how stupid? Yeah, I know.
I mean, then you just walk in and be like, yeah, I came back from hunting at 2 a.m. I was hunting some deer. It was like night ops for me, man. Like shit.
I was hunting deer, bud. That's illegal here.
This guy just happened to show up right
Night hunt.
there.
It's illegal.
No, you can't.
Nope, that's illegal.
Oh. Okay, well, if it's illegal in Texas, it's illegal in the rest of the fucking world.
It's illegal. You can shoot hogs at night.
That's so
Can you
dumb.
You can shoot hogs anywhere, right?
Yeah, you can
Or
shoot
are
hogs.
they,
You can just shoot a
invasive
hog.
at
I could
this
walk
point?
outside right now and shoot one if I wanted.
Good.
You're
Pigs are terrible creatures.
Yeah, I love. They taste good too.
Yo, you know who else ate pigs? Andrew Tate,
Facts.
Muslim.
Wait, but you know who else hates pigs? The Jews.
They don't hate them, okay? They just don't eat them.
I don't eat them.
Because they realize they can make a profit if they sell them. So all they think about is
That's yes. The meta.
You're right.
I think I'm learning a lot about your guy. No, it's shit.
sorry, watching too much Kanye. It's not my fault.
First the Hanukkah
You're
song,
gonna be
now
featured
this.
on the next H3 podcast. It's gonna be great.
You've been watching the H3 podcast too much, buddy. You're getting some wild ideas about Ben Shapiro. I think.
Shout out to H3. He's improving his comedy game, getting edgier every time, man. Shout out to him.
Man. No, but thank you all for watching today's episode. Obviously, if this doesn't get removed for whatever policy on YouTube, because I think we're kind
It
of
will. This will.
It won't.
It was a good run, boys. This one is not making the
It
light of
won't.
day.
It won't.
33% mentally prepared themselves for this moment.
Everyone, please check out Cold Brew, the sponsor
Yes,
of
Cold
this
Brew
week's
Club,
episode. We
the sponsor.
need you guys.
Yeah, they're what's going to make this. I already drank the whole. I'm about to make another one. But beyond just cold brew coffee, also check out Abba and Preach on YouTube, making absolute banger content regarding the nuances of today's society and why we should look at them. No, absolutely, we should. All right, we're not absolutists in this part of the world. Call us enlightened centrists, if you will. But we like to look at situations with a little bit of fucking nuance, a little bit of knowledge before we jump into things. But yeah, Abba, I have to give you some like credit. You made probably the most like rational take on the Ethan Klein thing that I've read in the last or heard in the last 72 hours. Either it's all been deplatforming. Nobody has provided the context that you have. Like that's one of the things that we respect about your channel a lot. And I feel like, honestly, like if anybody had like any bad perception of you from anybody's podcast highlights channel that may have titled things in a wrong way, not naming any names here, this should help set the record straight. At least in my opinion.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here, and thank you all for watching. This is me, Caleb, and Moose.